That is one of the most important things in attracting a woman. It's emotional connection. What's up, my friend? It's Matt Little, Provo Dating Coach, and today I'm being a little more casual today. Today I want to talk about how to have a really good, flowing, deep, connecting conversation. Because I don't know about you, but have you ever been in this situation where you're talking with someone, but the conversation just isn't really flowing? It's not really going deep. You don't feel like you're getting a good, solid connection with the person that you're talking to. If you have ever felt that way on a date or just talking with anybody, you are not alone. And so today I want to help you think of some things that you can do to, one, not ever run out of about what to talk about, but two, how to make what you talk about really interesting and emotionally connecting. So the first thing I want to talk about is what? What should you talk about in a conversation to make it interesting? Now there's this acronym. You can research about it online all you want. It's FORD. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. FORD method. If you talk about family, that's something that's near and dear to people. So you are way more likely to have a deeper connection when you talk with family. They'll feel closer to you and you'll feel closer to them. Another one is occupation. It's what they do every day for the most of the day, and it may not be work specifically. They may be going to school. So it's what do you study? What do you do for work? So that's another great thing to talk about. Third is recreation. So what hobbies do you have? What do you like to do? What do you enjoy doing? What do you do in your free time, right? And the last one, this one is it's not the opener to a conversation, but it's really helpful, and it's dreams. Talking about dreams. A lot of people don't have support for their dreams. They have their thing that they're doing every single day, but they may have a dream to do something greater and better, but they don't have tons of support, or they would be doing their dream, right? And so when someone starts talking about their dreams and you jump in and you take interest in that and you encourage their dreams, they're gonna love you. So those are 4 amazing things to talk about, what you should talk about. Now that's what to talk about, but how do you make it deeper, more connecting, more interesting? It's really simple. I'll break it down for you. Number 1 is to ask more why questions, or how do you feel questions. Because you can ask someone, where do you live? Where are you from? You could ask, what do you do for work? How big is your family? So you're asking surface level questions, information questions, and that's really important to do to get started. But then if it's like, hey, what do you do for work? I work at Purple, the mattress company. They're like, what do you do at Purple? I do marketing. Interesting. What do you think about your job? Is it fun? Okay, so what do you think about your job? That's starting to go into what do you think about your job? How do you feel about it? And that's the perfect way. You want to get there quickly so you can go deeper into why. Why do you do that for work? Why do you work at Purple? Asking those why questions is going to take it from being surface level and interview, rapid fire questions, and getting a conversation going. Another thing that you can do to avoid surface level interview style conversation is when someone says, I work at Purple. You bring in a comment right there. You say, no way. That's awesome. I've always wondered what those mattresses feel like. I bet they're amazing. Those commercials, they make it seem really cool. So that's something that is also another helpful tip to bring in to make some variety in the conversation, is comment about it too, and then ask them the why question. That way it doesn't feel so, what's this interview. That tip alone right there will help you a ton. Now, tip number 2 is this: use emotional connection words and be vulnerable. How do you use emotional connection words and be vulnerable? So let me ask you this. Have you ever talked with someone who is so overly positive, it's kind of weird, and you talk to them, but they never say anything negative at all? They never have a hard time. They never are struggling in life. They always got everything together, and that's just the presentation that they give, because everybody has challenges in life. It's totally unrelatable, and it actually is disconnecting. If you're trying to just say, yeah, my life is amazing, life's so cool, I never have problems, that is so boring. And I've talked with people like that, and for a second it's inspiring, but it's also disconnecting. So it's like, oh, I can't truly connect with them and be their friend or date them. Because that's what we're all about. We're all about finding and attracting and marrying our dream woman. So you gotta be vulnerable, and using emotional connection words, you want to be positive, like, oh, I feel passionate about what I do at work because blah, 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 whatever it is for you. So use emotional connection words like passionate. Oh, I felt so excited when this happened. You'll never believe. Bring some emotion into it. Use emotional words. And it's not just the words you're using, but it's also how you're saying those words. But on top of that, what I'm saying about, being vulnerable is include negative words too. Oh, I felt so sluggish this morning. And I was thinking, wow, this is going to be a stressful day because I have so much on my plate. I got to do so many things today. So I had to change gear and had to be like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. Let's get pumped up. And you get excited. Oh, and then I totally changed my mindset. I'm like, okay, let's get excited today. Oh, today I'm going to do this and it's going to be super challenging. Another emotion word right there, challenging, super challenging. But I'm going to show up and be my best self. I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to give it my best shot. Just using emotion, positive and negative, will really help to be connecting. So there's the one extreme of always super positive, not being vulnerable, disconnecting, right? Well, on the other end of the spectrum, always being negative, that's also disconnecting. Because there's only bad stuff in their life. Can't connect with that. Because the truth about life is there's so many things to be grateful for, and there are so many challenges as well. So you got to have a mixture. And I would say err on the side of positivity, maybe have a 3-to-1 ratio, because that way you're showing that you're a real person, but you're being inspiring, you're bringing joy. And that's what you want to do in a conversation, is make them happier, make them better. The third technique that you can use is mirror questions. Return the question back. Where are you from? What about you? That's a perfect phrase to use. What about you? That also spices up the conversation. And in a conversation on a date with a woman, you want the ratio to be 60% her talking, 40% you. So you want to return the question so that she can spend plenty of time talking. Because the person who's talking more, it's a very subconscious psychological thing, but they're trying to impress the other person a little bit more. So let her take on the conversation a little bit more. You lead the conversation, you ask questions, return the question, but let her talk a little bit more than you. Fourth technique to spice up a conversation is to ask favorites or mosts. Like, what is your most embarrassing moment? What is the most fill in the blank? Or what's your favorite type of food? What was your favorite vacation, favorite childhood memory? Who's your favorite person in the world right now? Asking favorites and mosts, that really helps people kind of think outside of the normal conversation. It's a really good idea to implement that. Tip number 5 is use this phrase, tell me more about, or just tell me more. Wow, that's interesting. Tell me more. This is one of the best compliments you can give someone in a conversation. If they're telling you about what they are studying in school or what they're doing for work, and you have a comment, wow, that's really interesting because blah, 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 tell me more about that. That is a strong compliment. It's like, wow, they think I'm interesting. When you say tell me more, you're saying, without saying it in words, you're telling them, wow, you are really an interesting person. And people love to feel interesting. Technique number 6 is to make an assumption and state that, or use flirty statements in the conversation. And you want to mix these up throughout the conversation, but it just makes it more interesting and flow better. It spices things up a little bit. So let's say you're going to get ice cream. Now, in that context, you could make an assumption about what type of ice cream she likes. Oh, don't tell me you're one of those plain vanilla ice cream kind of girls. You look like the kind of girl that's chocolate ice cream all the way. If you make an assumption about someone, then they either have to confirm or deny it and back themselves up. And it's kind of funny, if you guess right, they kind of laugh like, how'd you know that? If you guess wrong, they're gonna start defending themselves and be like, no, I'm not. Why would you think that? It just makes it really interesting to talk like that. And a flirty statement would be something like a push-pull, like a compliment, but also a challenge. They tell you something like really awesome about themselves. You're like, wow, that's amazing. You need to stop trying to impress me. And it's how you say it. You say it with a smile. You need to stop trying to impress me. What you're doing is you're also making an assumption. You're saying, oh, you totally want me and you're trying to impress me. So that's kind of a fun, playful way of expressing interest, but you're also complimenting them saying, wow, that's really amazing. Number 7 is bring in some humor. Now this could be so easy. It's think of what's your most embarrassing moment potentially, or what's a funny story that you heard or that you experienced recently, or maybe you have some go-to funny stories from the past. But if you bring in some funny stories, that's gonna make a huge difference. And it makes the conversation way more enjoyable. So my friend, in review, what do you talk about? Think forward. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Talk about those topics. Whenever you don't know what to say, think of forward. So the 7 techniques of how to spice up a conversation is 1, use why questions. Get people talking about how they feel and why they do things. Number 2, use emotional connection words. Show a little bit of vulnerability. Focus on positive, a little bit on the negative as well. Be real. Number 3 is return the question. If they ask you a question, give it back. Get them talking a little bit more than you. Number 4, ask favorites or most questions. Find out what their favorite things are. It's going to be a good way to vary the conversation. Number 5, use the phrase, tell me more. It compliments them, makes them feel like they're interesting. Number 6, make assumptions and throw in flirty statements. Number 7 is bring some humor in it. Bring the joy to your conversations and you will have a greater level of conversation. You will be more attractive and you will be able to find, attract, and marry your dream woman. You cannot be boring because no woman wants to be bored. Every woman wants to be with a man who's attractive, masculine, funny, or interesting, who she can connect with emotionally. That is one of the most important things in attracting a woman. It's emotional connection. So you need to do that through conversation. And if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and join me for more dating advice. Thank you and have a great day.